Welcome to our today's doctrinal reflection, guided by the theme, Finding Joy Amid Sorrow as taught by the Blessed Virgin Mary. I am Seminarian Agosa Basil from the Catholic Diocese of Kakamega, currently studying at St. Thomas Senior Seminary. Mary remains an example and a perfect example and an epitome of Christian life, especially as we undergo sorrow and affliction. She teaches us that even though we undergo this sorrow or this affliction, we can always find joy. By this, she shows us a perfect example in three different ways. The first way, it is through the grace of surrender. And this is highlighted from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 1, verse 38, whereby she dedicates herself and surrenders herself totally to the angel after receiving the message that she's going to become the mother of God. Through this, Mary teaches us to receive the grace of surrender, and this grace helps us to humble ourselves and to admit our weaknesses and to trust in God's plan, especially and when it demands sacrifice. Most of the time, we find ourselves in situations where we need to surrender totally so as to receive the grace of God, and it is through that we can be able to identify the plan that God has for us. Especially when it is in the time of sorrow, we are able to find our way out and how to obtain the joy. Mary gives us also the grace of a sound mind, and this is well illustrated through the 7 sorrows, especially this month as we celebrate the Rosary of the 7 sorrows. Many a times we have found ourselves in moments that cause sorrow and affliction, moments that pin us down. But what do? We as human, through our nature, we tend to give up and see as if everything has come to an end. But try to think about the life of Mary journeying with her son through the 7 sorrows, especially when she reaches the climax of meeting with her son on the way of the cross, until when Christ is taken down from the cross and also buried. It is in the wish of every parent to see a child growing and thriving. But here comes a scenario where Mary has to endure the pain of burying her son. Dear brothers and sisters, these hurtful moments to Mary did not pin her down, yet she stood strong and firm underneath the cross. She did not fall in despair or confusion. Instead, through her faith, she remained firm in mind and trusted in God's promises. In our lives, when we face these terrible moments, let us emulate Mary. Just as she didn't allow sorrow to crush her hope, we can also ask for grace to think clearly, to discern wisely, and to endure patiently when life is overwhelming. Lastly, Mary teaches us through the grace of consolation, and this is illustrated when we see her interceding to Jesus Christ at the wedding at Cana when wine was over. And she answered back to the hosts that listen and do what he tells you. We can also share joy to others who are in sorrow by being a light to them, by showing them Christ so that they can also find joy. Mary also illustrates this consolation to our neighbor when at the foot of the cross, she readily accepts Apostle John to be her son. Dear brothers and sisters, when we face our sorrows, we are taught that we can also mirror the same kind of joy that we learn from our sorrows to our dear brothers and sisters who are also facing the same sorrow or affliction. Therefore, brothers and sisters, the Blessed Virgin Mary shows us that the joy and sorrow coexist in the Christian journey. By opening ourselves to the grace of surrender, soundness, mind, and consolation, we too can find joy amidst trials. And Mary remains to be our model, especially when we face sorrowful moments, when we face afflictions. Just as we say in the litany, Maria causa nostra laetitiae, ora pro nobis, Mary, cause of our joy, pray for us. And when we do this, we live together in harmony as brothers, we come to discover that truly a family that prays together stays together.